And welcome to the Multiplay podcast. Yes, it is us. We're back. Docky Darko here with Luke once again, and we're here to talk video games and pop culture. We did start this as just a video game podcast, really. But our interest, and we had to remember, like every time we catch up at the pub, we talk about so many various...
We're branching out.
This time we
don't want to be in a box.
Expanded it. Don't label us, man. My pronouns are Marvel and DC. So we're chatting all things gaming right now, though. But we want to find out what we've been playing. What have you been playing lately, Lukey?
Man, it's been a long time. It's good to catch up.
It has been, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been forever.
Kids do that, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both got like 2 kids each now.
Yep.
And it's funny how we'll sidetrack to parenting here for a second. It's funny how when you've got one kid, it's kind of like, wow, this is really hard to juggle everything with one kid.
Yeah.
And when you got 2 kids, you're like, oh, sure, this might be, twice as difficult to juggle. No, it's 10 times difficult.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. I was listening to a podcast the other day, a kind of like parenting podcast, and they were talking about like, what would you say to your younger self before you had kids?
Yeah.
And one of the guys was like, you have so much spare time.
Oh,
yeah. To tell your younger self, I was like, man, I used to play so many video games and read so many comic books, and like, it's just the amount of like leisure time I used to have.
I see the memes all the time, which are like, what happens when you get older, you get a job, you get all this money, and you're like, I can finally buy all the video games I want that I've always wanted, but I have no time to play them.
100%. I nowadays, like, I have like access to so many games through Game Pass and all these other things, and I don't get to play any of them. If I had those when I was like 16. There's
one on my Game Pass list which is like, oh, I couldn't wait to play it. I was like, saw it coming up. I was like, I've got to play this game when it comes out. I've got to play it.
Yeah.
It's Scorn. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
And I still haven't played it. I'm like, I've loaded it on, and I'm like, man, I need to get to that game.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that's sitting there in front of me every time I log into Game Pass. I'm like, I should play that. I should play this. I should play that.
But do you think that also is because Game Pass spoils you a bit too?
Absolutely.
Because when you go out and buy a game, you feel compelled to play it. But because it comes sort of free with this subscription service, you're like, yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It, I hate to say it, but it kind of, it devalues them a little bit in that, like you say, if you spend $90 or $80 on a video game, you're at least going to boot it up and check it out. And if you don't like it,
an hour.
Trade it in or whatever it is, right? But nowadays, like, the amount of times I download a game, get it all installed, and then end up deleting it the next month because I never even got around to playing it. It happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's a frequent.
My internet bill, if it was made up of like games that you downloaded that didn't play, it would be a massive chunk of my bandwidth.
So what are you playing at the moment? Like what device and what game?
Yeah, so at the moment, like you said, got 2 kids now, so time is kind of precious. So one of the things that I've kind of fallen in pretty hard on is Marvel Snap on iPhone. On mobile. Yeah,
right, okay. Because it's available, you can get it on PC.
You can, yeah. I did boot it up on Steam on the PC. The issue there was it's designed for a phone.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, right? So the game's made by, I forget the name of the developer, but the kind of director, the lead, is a guy called Ben Bode, who was the lead on Hearthstone.
Oh, okay, right. This is why you like it so much.
Yeah, and so I was pretty into Hearthstone for quite a few years there. And so the thing about Hearthstone is it started on Battle.net, so on PC, and then moved over to mobile eventually, right? So that game is definitely designed for a monitor and a screen, and then they adapted it to work amazingly on iPhone, but even better on iPad. So it's a trading card, collectible card game, but battle game, kind of like that.
Right.
But it's designed for...
So think Magic the Gathering.
Exactly right. Think Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, that kind of stuff. But the big thing is that it's shorter matches, right? So Hearthstone is You build up your mana and play over. A game may take, say, 10 minutes.
Sure.
This is quick, 3-minute games.
Right. This is for time poor people.
Time poor people, which is definitely parents. It's a good poop game. I find. You get 2 games in while you do a poop.
Yeah, love it.
Quick.
Yeah, that was Angry Birds for me.
Yeah. You need a good poop game.
You do.
Everyone needs a good poop game. Yeah. So you play like a normal phone. Portrait.
Yeah.
So and it's thin. You have what they call locations. So your cards come in. There's not as many cards. So you don't have to worry about building a big 30-card deck.
Right. Okay.
Like Hearthstone. So you collect all these. It's all based on Marvel characters. So every character has a ability that kind of. Well, most have abilities, some don't, but it relates to the actual character.
Right, okay.
So it's like if you're a Marvel fan, which I know you are, if you're a card fan, like card game fan, which I know you are, it's super addictive and it's just awesome because awesome art, really well designed game. It's different every time. It's not one of the things with Hearthstone and some of those games is it can be a bit samey.
Yeah.
Especially if a lot of people play in the same decks. Yeah. You can kind of your only variety is the cards in someone's deck and how they play, right?
So is the concept of this you need to build your own deck?
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing like in-app purchase a lot.
Yeah, you would think that, right? So that you 100% would think that. And so I didn't kind of get into this until it actually went to full release. So it was in beta for a little while and I had a couple of mates that were playing the beta and had said, this is really good. You should definitely check it out. And so I got it when it went into full release thinking the exact same thing. I'm going to have to spend $100 on packs, build my decks, and then I'll be off and running. Here we go, open the wallet and send the money out. But with this one, it's you build up your they call it collection level, but essentially as you level up your cards.
Okay.
So it gives you a set of basic
so
cards.
So you grind a bit more.
You grind it, but it just gives you cards.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about packs. So as you level up, it just throws more cards at you. Hey, cool. So now you've reached that kind of beginner phase, which may have, I forget, it might be 120 cards or whatever it is, 80 cards. So that beginning phase, you can build all your decks with those 80 cards. And then as you level up further, gives you more advanced cards and this kind of thing. And so you're always playing people kind of at your similar level. And there's no buying packs and dropping a heap of money.
Really?
You can do a battle, what do you call it? Battle pass.
Like a,
monthly battle pass if you want to get extra cards or extra kind of like cosmetics. But it's $15 a month. Honestly, it's not even really needed.
Yeah.
Because you don't get anything apart from like that month's special card.
Sure. Okay.
But you can do it all just by playing.
Well, that's good.
It's awesome.
That's actually like...
It's the biggest selling point, right? So because I've got a couple of mates into it. One who is like big Magic guy, right? Massive collection, thousands of cards, has dropped, probably thousands of dollars on Magic cards over the years. But he's really into card games. So I've got him into it and then another mate who hasn't played a lot of card games. Both of them like into it hard because there's that barrier to entry is so low.
Yeah, sure.
And you just kind of chip away. Say you're playing 5 or 10 games a day, you'll just naturally get a heap of cards that you can then customize your decks.
Yeah.
You get, as you kind of get those more kind of advanced is maybe not the term, but different cards with different abilities, you can kind of build custom decks that are based on these different things like moving cards or destroying cards or discarding cards and all this kind of stuff that like all different actions that you can do. And then the big thing is you have these locations. So winner of the game in the complete basic terms is you've got 3 locations. You have to win 2 of the 3 with the number of power level, which you get from your cards in 2 of the 3 locations to win. Simple
so only in 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3.
Yeah.
And then the locations are all based on Marvel places, right? So one is Wakanda.
Right, okay.
One is the Triskelion.
Like
one
Asgard.
is... Yeah,
like
Asgard. And they all have different location abilities.
Okay.
So Wakanda gives every card +1. There's one called the Gamma Lab where on turn 4, every card turns into the Hulk, which is like one of the most powerful cards.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
you want to build that up with like little minions, little crappy 1 or 2 cost cards because on turn 3 or turn 4, whatever it is, they all turn into the Hulk.
Okay, yeah.
So there's just kind of like real variety, and every time you play is completely different.
So is there only the digital version of the game? Is there a physical version of the game as well?
No, it's only digital.
Only digital. That's cool.
But like what I was saying before, right? I got it on Steam, But the problem is that it only plays in portrait.
Oh, so you're playing portrait on your monitor.
On your monitor.
Yeah, okay.
And
this is alright because I've got a vertical screen here, so I can just load it on that.
Yeah, it would be fine for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it just was like, and it doesn't have kind of cross save between. Maybe it does on Android.
Oh, okay.
But not between iPhone.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go and start again.
Yeah.
On PC.
Actually, we'll put that to the test because I've got Android. So
we should check it out and see if it does. But oh man, it's definitely worth a look. It's like I said, it's quick games. You can kind of have a quick blat. Couple of games before bed or a couple of games while you're pooping, and it's just mad fun.
I love it. A poop game.
Mad
it's great.
fun. What have you been playing?
Look, I'd love to say I've been playing lots and lots of games lately, but I got Pokemon Violet, and it's taken up all the spare time I have. It is
throwing those Master Balls.
Man, it's taking me back to when Pokemon Red and Blue came out.
Oh wow!
Like back in the day, you know, like. I remember because I was working in a video game store at the time called Games R Us.
I'm not going to say how old I was because it will make you feel old.
Okay. You were probably one of the little kids that used to come into the store and we would serial link our Game Boys together so that we could trade Pokemon. And that's sort of what it reminds me of back in the day when Pokemon was all about trading and you know it was really raw. This is what I love about this new version is that it's open world now, so it's got a really cool, that's a really cool addition to it. All the new Pokemon in it are great. There's some really the thing is there's some really bizarre Pokemon
So I know next to nothing about this game. Is it? Are all the OG Pokemon in it, or is it only just these new ones?
This is one of the first Pokemon games that doesn't even have Squirtle. Okay. Which is my favorite Pokemon.
Okay.
So it's bizarre. I didn't you start with the 3 Pokemon that this particular each series that comes out has 3 Pokemon which are new Pokemon that you start with, and you've got a grass type, a water type, and a fire type to choose from. I can't remember their names, and don't even ask me to pronounce Pokemon names. But I went with the grass Pokemon, which is like a cat, and they level up really quickly, and you end up with a fairly powerful character. But you can have, I think it's 6 characters in your team now. I did find a Pikachu eventually, but it took a while into the game before I actually found the Pikachu and caught one. And
okay, so they still include.
So there's some originals there, but not all of them. Like Eevee is in there somewhere, I think, and a few of the others. But
kind of famous, powerful ones.
Yeah. I haven't seen like a Charizard, for example, like the most sought after Pokemon card. I haven't seen the Charmander and that evolve into that. But look, I really like it. It's buggy as hell, and that's not what
I have heard. Yeah,
and it's not graphically amazing. Like I would think with the I would think with the millions and billions of dollars that the Pokemon company is making. That a much more polished game would be coming out now. You look at the Detective Pikachu movie and the way the Pokemon look in that film, they look real, they look furry, they look scaly, they look... In this, they're just still that bland
Do you think that's
2D, 3D crap graphic.
Do you think that's Switch hardware holding it back?
Look, to some point, probably. But then at the same time, I can play Borderlands on Switch. I can play, a stack of other games.
You were playing Doom on Switch.
Yeah, there's lots of games on Switch.
Yeah.
I was playing The Witcher 3 on Switch. That was the first time I played The Witcher 3 all the way through was on Switch.
That's right.
Which is graphic heavy. It can be graphic heavy, but much more heavy than say a Pokemon game. Even
I've
Zelda,
just,
Breath of the Wild.
downloaded Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Because they released that new
the new
update.
Yeah.
Same thing what I said before, but I've got it installed at the moment. I haven't played it yet, so hopefully it doesn't get uninstalled, but I've got all the 4K update there ready to go because I've never actually got around to playing it.
Oh.
And I bought it. No. And I bought it years ago. And so I have the Game of the Year there, and I was saw that this next gen update was coming out for free to anyone that had the game. Now
dude, you got to get into Witcher was one of the games that I put off for a long time too, and I never played Witcher 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I jumped straight into 3 on the Switch. I did play, I think I played maybe, a very small amount on the Xbox.
Yeah.
And was this is a good game. I need to come back to this. but then like the new FIFA came out or something, which sucks me in. But then when it came in on Switch, I was like, I need to try this on Switch because, you know, it's bizarre that a game this powerful would be on this device.
Yeah.
And I played it all the way through and I did every single side mission I could because it just became like an addiction. It was like, this is so good. This is such a good...
Yeah, I'm excited to play it because everyone has such good things to say about that game.
Yeah, it is really that good. And it holds up well, even like pre this latest release. It looks great.
Oh yeah,
it feels
definitely.
Great.
It was it was still a good looking game.
Yeah.
It was you know, I won't be able to probably use some of the my PC at the moment is still I need a new graphics card now that finally come down to a kind of a reasonable level for the first time in a few years.
And they're available again.
Like and you can actually buy them. Shelves, But so things like ray tracing and stuff I probably won't be able to like get the most out of that. But even just having those kind of high res textures and stuff would be nice.
Oh look, I tell you that some of the games I have been playing lately on PC, particularly, are games like the Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and all the rest of the PlayStation games that have just been released and ported over to PC. Yep. And playing them,
God of War, that kind of thing.
Yeah, playing them with the ray tracing and things like that on PC. My God, it's phenomenal. Like it looks so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just seeing Spider-Man's reflection as you swing through the cities, in the windows and stuff. It's just,
It's so good that kind of is happening now. You know that Sony has, Xbox has obviously been doing it for quite a while, but Sony at least has kind of come to the table and you don't get them straight away. But
it's like
6 months or 12 months later, you can get these on PC. So the people that don't have a PS5 or still haven't been able to find one, which I think they're a bit better now, they're a bit more available. But being able to play Horizon and God of War and Spider-Man and Last of Us, all this kind of stuff on PC is going to be just so good.
But the one thing I would tell anyone who's going to buy a PlayStation game to play on their PC is get a DualSense controller.
Yeah.
Like even just for your standard like PC games that you would play with a controller, that controller is hands down the greatest achievement in next gen. In this next generation.
So I'm curious, but right, because
there's one right there if you want to pick it up and have a play.
Isn't the whole idea of the PS5 controller, like I understand it's a great controller, but don't you only get all that extra
all the haptic feedback
functionality playing on PlayStation?
No.
On PC as well?
You get it with the PlayStation games on PC.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're playing, like I was playing Sackboy and I got the haptic
I did not know that.
Yeah, Spider-Man, you get all the haptic feedback.
Because the reason, and this is going back to PS4 days, the reason I didn't like playing with my PS4 controllers on PC was when I would play PC games, the prompts for like QuickTime events were the wrong ones. Because it was always assuming you're on an Xbox controller.
Yep.
And so I would always just use my Xbox One controller on the PC. But now, do you reckon the QuickTime events would also display?
I assume so. I haven't played a lot of games that aren't PlayStation.
Interesting.
Because most of the time
might have to relook at it. That's because this is
but
a great controller.
I think how does it feel now? It's in your hands.
Oh, it's amazing.
It is ergonomically and just it feels like the best. Like it's solid.
I do have a soft spot for the Xbox controller, but I think just because they didn't change much because it didn't need changing with the Xbox controller. Whereas this, they changed a lot because the PS4 controller is not.
In comparison, right next to it, pick up the Xbox controller that comes with the Series X. That's the standard Xbox controller for the next gen console.
They're both really good.
The one thing I would say is I pick up that Xbox controller and it feels hollow. It feels there's something just not quite as solid build about it.
I think I prefer the buttons on the Xbox controller.
Yeah. Having said that, I have I got to pick my Christmas present this year, and I designed an Xbox controller on the Design Labs.
So you've just been shitting on the Xbox controller, and now you admit that you've actually built the custom one.
I've been shitting on the standard Xbox. I've just ordered the Elite controller.
Yeah.
So that's. I think I hope that is going to take the
for what they cost. I'm sure it is going to be pretty well made.
Yeah.
I like the buttons on the back on those.
I do too, yeah. And the fact that you can go change all the colours and you can add engravings and stuff like that. So it will say DokiDarko.com on it.
Of course it will.
And have all the DokiDarko.com.
It's about how it works, Doc, not how it looks.
So branding, get it on brand. We're going to mass produce these things. Let's get them out there.
Just going back to Pokemon quickly. So
Yeah.
I was down at the wharf maybe, I don't know, a few months ago.
Yeah.
3 or 4 months ago. And there were some people kind of like gathering around in these groups. Maybe, 4 or 5 people in a group. Like, quite a few people, say 30 people there or something.
Wait, like
Still playing Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Really?
All connected with battery packs down there catching. I was like, I didn't
Seriously?
even know that's still a thing.
I didn't know it was still active.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
I think because I played the game for about 10 seconds when it came out, but whatever the location is where you catch, I'm guessing the
gyms, is it?
Yeah, maybe it's a gym or something. And so there must have been some kind of event on that someone had
Yeah.
either organised or was done in game. I'm not sure. But they're all down there, man. Still playing.
That is insane.
Still into
I
it.
can't believe that.
Yeah.
Man. If you're a player who's still playing Pokemon Go, then reach out to us
Let us know.
and let us know. The contact details are online. So, but we would love to know. That is,
Yeah, man. Like if because what would that be? What, 4 years, 5
it
years?
feels like longer, but yeah, I assume so.
I'm not even sure.
I just remember, and I think I was talking to someone about this recently, just what a phenomenon it was.
It was huge.
It was. There's been nothing like it since, I feel.
Yeah, it's interesting, but right, because what you were talking about before, like when Red and Blue come out, and like I said, I won't say how old I was, but I remember how big of a deal that was.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that me anyway, there's no way your parents are buying you both games.
No.
So you got to find
You
someone
gotta find someone else
who's got that other game so that you can swap,
Well, that's why I was saying to you, because I've got Violet. I was like, man, you need to get this game, but please get Scarlet.
Yeah. And is it just like the old one where it's like, obviously it's all done online now, but you can just trade?
I assume so. I haven't found anyone else who's got it
haven't
yet.
got
So
it yet,
yeah, so that's the one part I really need to get in and
Suss out.
And so
Remember how like everyone was playing that game?
yeah, I think I've only got like one gym to go.
Yeah, okay. Smashing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've got one gym, and there's another component of the game where you've got to there's the star crew that you've got to hunt down each of them. And I've only got one of those left to go as well. But I've got all the Titans. So there's Titan Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
So I've got all them. And so they level, as you get those, they level up your special Pokemon that you can't use in battle, but you just ride around like a motorcycle.
Okay.
And they level them up so that you can reach different areas of the game. So it is open world, but you might find that some towns are on plateaus above in
So
the
that's how they
mountains.
get
And
you
so,
into.
it unlocks the ability for this thing to climb up walls and jump and glide and things like that. So yeah, it's a solid game. Like I said, buggy. Like
You said it's got better, but right?
it has got better. There's been a few updates, but I just say I've noticed things like sometimes my Pokemon doesn't appear on the screen, and whether or not that is to do with the terrible camera angles during battles. So I'll be using one of my dragon type Pokemons, which is a larger Pokemon, and I don't see them at all.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, so it's like I want to see my Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a pretty big part of the game.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Right. And you are holding in one hand a slingshot that the birds load themselves into. Then you pull back the bird and let loose, just like you would on Angry Birds, like just on the mobile app.
And you're aiming it down the
but
sides.
you're aiming down the sides,
Yeah.
and you are like pointing it at this 3D construction as opposed to a 2D construction in the
Straight on
mobile.
instead of side on.
Yeah. And you can maneuver around at different points around the 3D. Like you can stand, like it's all based on this area, which is an island that's got cliffs and stuff. So you can move up to this top cliff and down, and then get a better angle at the TNT box that you need to hit at the center. So it depends on where you're shooting from, as well as what you're shooting at, and what bird you're using. It is so good. Like it is surprisingly very good, and it was good. I only discovered it because it came out like a few years ago, but I only discovered it because I was talking to one of the guys at Zero Latency in Virginia there, and he was like, "Oh man, if you played the Angry Birds game, you'd probably really love it." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know there was." So I came home straight away, downloaded it, and was like, "Oh man, this is insane! It's so good." So yeah, if you're a fan of those snackable content games like Angry Birds, then worth getting on your
I definitely
VR.
played the phone one quite a bit. While we're on VR, it just got me thinking. So mine exactly like you said, has been sitting on the shelf for a little while. But the most recent one that I bought probably a few months ago now, and it's my go-to party game now.
Oh, okay.
So if I go to anywhere where, we've got a bit of room and there's a few people having a few drinks.
Yeah. Is this whipping out the VR to show people for the first time?
Pretty much, yeah. And it's just like even people that have played a bit of VR.
Yeah.
Pistol Whip. Have you played it?
No, is this the beat shooting game? Shoot on the beat. Is that it?
I'm bringing it over. Next time I come over,
Okay.
I'll bring my Quest. And, you've got your Quest
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Because I saw this the other day, and I think it's on sale in the Christmas sales at the moment.
So,
yeah.
This is my selling pitch that I do to people. Beat Saber meets John Wick.
Right.
So you're shooting on rails to the beat of like kind of electronic kind of,
so not known songs? They're
no, not known songs. It's a bit like, synth kind of just grungy kind of synth music. And so you've got, depending what level you can have customized it. So you have two dual wield or just one gun.
Yeah.
And dudes jump out at you. And you have to pop them to the beat.
On the beat?
On the beat to
like
get
what
more
happens
points.
if you shoot off beat?
It's fine.
Yeah.
It just looks significantly less cool.
Okay.
And it's
and
like
score
a
points?
retro.
Do you get points for getting
points
closer
based.
to the beat, sort of like in Beat Saber?
And dude, you feel like the biggest badass ever. It's amazing. So I took it to a party like that my sister had, and all her like drunk friends got into it and were just like, I was sure my Quest was going to get smashed, but like, jumping on the ground and jumping up, and because like, you got to dodge, like you're also like Neo from the Matrix because the bullets are coming at you a little bit slow. So you dodge bullets and you
bullet time.
And then you're like all to the music, and it's just so much fun.
Man, I'm downloading it tonight.
So much fun.
Because I think it was one of the things I downloaded the other day when I loaded up my Quest for the first time. I'm like, why does this sit on the shelf for so long? It's so good.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't. It just does because it gets forgotten about. I think
100%.
too because I wear glasses and it annoys me that I have to go get my contacts on. So I got some.
I'm exactly the same.
I got some additions for it so that I can wear glasses now.
Yeah.
While I'm playing.
But it actually, honestly, like it's one of those ones too where it gets up a bit of a sweat. Like,
yeah. Okay.
It's not a workout game as such, but the amount you move and like you are on your toes quite a lot. It's definitely worth a check out.
I think it's one of the selling points that doesn't get stressed enough with playing virtual reality games. It's just how much of a workout you do get playing it. Like,
absolutely.
As opposed to sitting on your comfy chair playing 4 hours of Call of Duty, playing a few hours of like Alex Half-Life, like Half-Life Alex, or or even like Angry Birds where you don't do much, or Beat Saber particularly. Yeah. Where you're dancing constantly for an hour.
Beat Saber is such a workout.
Oh, it's a great game. Great workout.
Yeah. Me and Jazz sometimes, we map out the whole garage and just play some Beat Saber or whatever, and it gets sweaty.
But they reckon if you do 20 minutes of active activity a day, that's good for you, right? So if you play Beat Saber for 40 minutes, you're basically an Olympic athlete.
I do not understand how people do those expert levels.
Oh yeah, I watch one of my favourite streamers is actually a Queenslander, Nazy.
I've watched that stuff for sure.
And she is insane on Beat Saber.
But they just make it look so easy.
But also dancing properly the whole time.
Man. But then lookaways and stuff, stop it.
Yeah.
Just stop it.
I'm still playing level 1. Jerks.
I'm struggling.
Yeah, it's so good.
That VR, man. It's when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
I love it.
Man, I think, like I said, I think 2023 is going to be a big year for VR. There's a stack of games coming out that they announced at the Game Awards, which the Ghostbusters one looks amazing. Like, who doesn't want to play as a Ghostbuster in VR?
I remember you messaged me about that after
I was like, we
watched it. We are getting on this.
Yeah. And you know what? As I was watching the trailer, I had flashbacks to us playing Star Trek Bridge Crew.
So good.
Which is so good. We need to play that again.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, we could be Ghostbusters. How cool is that? The other one is a game called Behemoth. Have you seen this?
No.
My God. It is just beautiful.
What is it?
It is. I like from the teaser that they showed.
Yeah.
They just saw this. You see this like sort of Viking-y guy going through mountains, climbing mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a battle game as well, so guys come at you.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this giant creature that you've got to fight, like a Godzilla level creature.
So it's kind of like Shadow of the Colossus,
I guess.
in VR.
Yeah, but in VR, and it just like seriously, we'll watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I'll put it on after
Yeah,
we finish
I'll be
recording
keen.
here because I think
VR needs those big kind of must-play games.
yes, and
Otherwise,
that
it's going to
Half-Life
fizzle
Alyx
out, right?
is probably like still the best. It's the benchmark,
Hands down.
right? But
Hands down. But this is the
we
thing,
need
right?
to move on from that game.
Yeah, look,
Yeah.
and it's great, but a lot of people haven't had a chance to play it because a lot of people that bought a Quest don't hook up to
Don't
PC.
hook up to PC and,
You know,
or
as
have a
much as-
PC that can run it.
Yeah, and as much as that is where you're always going to get the better fidelity.
Yeah.
But it needs those because sometimes graphics isn't everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
and even, you know, most people I think it's sold like 15 or 20 million units, the Quest 2. The vast majority of those are never going to connect it to a PC and are just going to play
It's just going to play the
games on
basics.
the headset.
Yeah.
And
Oh, look.
things like
vast
Beat
majority
Saber
have just
and
downloaded
Pistol
Beat
Whip
Saber.
and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like Beat Saber is like a 500 meg download.
Yeah.
And Pistol Whip is like, yeah, it's stylized. It's not the most realistic looking game. But those two games are probably a gig between them.
Yeah.
And they're like some of the most fun I've ever had in VR.
And-
They're the kind of games
Yeah.
you need. The must buy.
They also frustrate me because there's so many like them. Those two set apart because the gameplay is so good.
Exactly.
But then there's so many that have like that style of graphic,
Yeah.
but it's just a rubbish.
Look, the
game.
ultra realistic stuff is, you know,
That's what I want.
always has a place.
Yeah.
Yeah, always going to have a place. But that, yeah.
Because I
In the
love-
future, when there's a Quest 4
Yeah.
and it's able to do...
Like even the Quest Pro's out now or whatever it is, and that does not look like it is 1,000 leaps ahead.
No,
as
it's
it
not.
should
It's
be.
incremental,
Yeah.
yeah. There's not much... Like, there's no reason to get one compared to your Quest 2, really.
What's the game? I'm trying to think of the game. Is it Super Shot VR?
Super hot.
Super Hot,
Amazing.
which is great.
Yeah.
Polygon graphics.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is the thing, right? Is that it's what you can do with the hardware.
I think
You know, and
Yeah.
it's like they're going for exactly like you said before, gameplay over looks.
yeah, and I think it's those like you said about Pistol Whip, the Super Hot. It's about those badass moments.
Oh,
It's like the gun, like the slow motion grab of the gun in midair as you pull the trigger and get the guy in the background.
throwing
It's just-
throwing an ashtray across the room and hitting them in the forehead,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
killing them. Amazing.
Yeah. Actually, I just had that amazing moment in Half-Life Alyx because I still haven't finished it.
Yeah.
But I just got grenades,
Uh-huh.
and you've got to arm this grenade and then throw it up into an air vent, like into a vent, so it
Yeah.
drops down into this room and then blows this creature up and opens the door.
Yeah.
And it took me ages to throw this thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I was playing in a room that had a low ceiling, and so I kept hitting the fan. And ow! But
The dangers of VR, man.
but once I finally got it in that it was such an achievement, and it was a
Yeah.
badass moment.
Oh, that game is unreal. It's
So-
like the fear I still get when one of those head crab zombies comes at you and gets real close.
Oh, yeah.
And you're
Flies
trying to reload the shotgun and you're like,
But you know what I've found playing it, it's the creatures aren't even the scariest part. It's when you bump into the soldiers.
Yeah.
When they come into it.
yeah.
And you're just like, oh man, I've been dealing with creatures this whole game, and they're
Yeah,
really easy to kill.
Yeah.
These guys are hard. Like I can't run away. Like,
Yeah. They're pretty staunch.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm hesitant trying that. I've got it, but I haven't really played. I think I did like the intro of it, but I'm hesitant playing that Walking Dead game because I know that
Saints and Sinners?
scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, I've got that, and it is scary. It's
Yeah.
good. I really like that game. It's really good. It's not graphically amazing. It
Yeah.
won't blow your mind. The other one I want to try is Zombieland.
Oh yeah.
So there's a Zombieland one,
didn't know.
and it looks great. It
Okay.
looks really cool. So it's got that same Zombieland humor and stuff.
Nice.
Which also reminds me of another game that I just tried out. I'm up to the first big boss. And this isn't a VR game. This is on Xbox through Game Pass. And it's High on Life, which is from the creators of Rick and Morty.
Yep.
It's the guy who voices Morty.
Yep.
Dude, and it sounds exactly like Morty. It's like you're playing a game with Morty.
Yeah. He didn't change the voice, did he?
No.
I only watched a review. I haven't played the game, but
it's got real Cronenberg moments.
Yeah.
Because the guns are living, like they're flesh living guns.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really that David Cronenberg style, but cartoony. So it's Rick and Morty mashed with David Cronenberg, I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny as hell. Like it is funny.
Yeah.
Like if you like Rick and Morty, you will piss yourself.
They're kind of a rare thing. These like a good comedy game, right?
Yeah.
I think the last one that I can think of is probably like the South Park games. They were actually truly funny. You know?
The Stick of Truth and
so funny.
So good. And really well built games too.
So tell me about High on Life. What do you think? Have you played much?
I'm I'm up to the first boss. The boss battle is really hard.
Yeah,
that was the one thing I found. I don't know if it was really hard. It was really late at night. You know how you're playing a game, it's late at night, you get to a first boss, it kills you, and then you get buggered, so I'm going to bed. And then you wake up the next day and you go, I'm going to give this one
coffee and some sleep.
And then you get through a first go.
Yeah,
so I'm yet to go do that first go battle. But up to that point, like you get this knife that's got this like Aussie accent, this put on Aussie accent.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. Just wants to stab everyone.
Yeah.
Just get me to work. I want to stab. So things like that are just like great. Like your house gets beamed off its street into this weird alien city, and it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy Bazaar with Rick and Morty, and just really funny, really fun.
It sounds cool.
Yeah, it's worth playing, and because it's on Game Pass, it's
why not?
Don't have to fork out too much for it. Just subscription.
No, I'll check it out for sure.
Yeah, there's that Game Pass again, like Xbox if you're listening.
Yeah. Phil Spencer, hit us up.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of gaming. I think the one big thing we want to talk about today is in the pop culture world, and it's of course the big announcements with the DCU, the DC universe, with James Gunn coming in and taking over now. And I don't know, have you seen the Peacemaker series?
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I've got it. Just got distracted by other shows, but I've got to go back and finish it off. But I think I got halfway through.
Dude, I binged it. It was so good.
It's good. It's definitely good.
When I heard he was going to come in and take over, I was like, oh, that is such a good idea.
Yeah, like I'm exactly the same. I thought that's like really the best way to go. I was excited to see your face today and see the emotion of Henry Cavill getting moved or pushed away. I'm like, I got several. Because you're a big fan of the Cav.
I'm a massive fan of Henry Cavill. And this is, I'm a massive fan of Henry Cavill in general. I think he's I've never met him. I don't know him personally. I just think he seems like a genuinely good guy. He seems like someone
down to
would
earth.
Invite to a LAN party.
Yeah.
And he would rock up with a hell machine too.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he'll be getting a new agent because he quit The Witcher to go and do Superman, but didn't have...
There's two stories around that, right? So, did he quit The Witcher to be Superman, or did he quit The Witcher because he was unhappy with the way The Witcher was going?
Right.
He's a massive fan of the Witcher books.
Yeah, okay.
Which I am too. And wanted to keep the show to original to the source, the source of the books, not the games. He's played.
So I haven't watched the series. Are they changing it?
And they are. They're making because not all books. I get it. Not all books translate well to a series, and you want a series arc. I think those books would. I think they should. They're built for that. And I think he thinks that too, and I think that's why he's sort of distanced himself from it.
So the story that I thought was that he quit to go and do Supes, but only had a verbal agreement with the old guard before James Gunn and Peter Safran took over. And then they came in and were like, not the way we want to go. Yeah. And so now he's doing a Warhammer 40k movie.
Well, and here's the thing. I think he's doing a series.
Is it a series?
I think Amazon have signed him up to do a series. And this is the thing in the announcement for that Warhammer 40k that he said. He went, I want to make something that's true to the original source material and for the fans. Right. Okay. And I think that was probably throwing
wink,
a little
nudge,
bit of
nudge.
shade.
Interesting.
At both Witcher and the situation with Superman.
Okay.
The Superman thing frustrates me to hell because the guy lived and breathed the role. You look at him, he's Superman. Like, you look at him.
Look, he's great. You know my thoughts on those movies.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was the best adaptation of Superman that we could have had. But
no.
The thing is, right, Gunn has come out and said, we're going back, we're doing young Superman, not origin story, but early days at the Daily Planet, younger version of
which is
Superman
good.
Which
I don't
think
need another
you
origin
need
story.
Definitely don't. Do what Spider-Man does now, in that we've done the origin that many times.
Yeah.
When they did Homecoming, we're off and running.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
We don't need to go back and show you the start.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah. It's established. You understand the background. We can just go.
Yeah.
Right. And so, Gunn is going to write a movie about young Superman in the Daily Planet with all that crew.
Yeah.
Dude.
That
could be amazing.
I love Man of Steel. I love it. I think it's a great movie. I think when he snaps Zod's neck at the end, I think, sure, it was the only way out. He was going to kill everyone. But, the other way out is the Phantom Zone, which is...
Superman would find a way.
Yeah. Superman always finds a way.
Exactly.
And that's, I guess, the thing that frustrates a lot of fans, and it modernized the character to some extent, but did it need modernization?
The thing I liked about that movie was, up until that point, we had wanted, or we thought we wanted, realistic versions of these characters, right? And it's kind of that whole thing that, that Watchmen played on originally in the 80s with the comic books, where it was like, hey, maybe you don't want realistic versions of these characters because it wouldn't be as good as what you think it would be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when they did realistic movie Superman, that's exactly what it would be like. Flying through buildings and buildings falling over and, utter destruction and chaos. And everyone went, oh, that's not what we want.
Yeah. How much collateral damage was there?
Superman is not really caring about the common man and, the innocent bystanders.
There's the moment in that where Superman takes them to, he takes the battle away from the city because he knows what's going on. He goes, I need to get this away from the city.
Yeah. But I think that, I think resetting it in a way and going back to a younger, kind of more hopeful Superman, maybe, I think that could be cool.
And look, he's not the only casualty either. Ben Affleck, he got told he was going to be doing more. Gal Gadot, I'm pretty sure she was convinced she was Wonder Woman forever.
Yeah, so look, I've just kind of been following Gunn's Twitter because he seems to be putting a bit of stuff on there about, I think a lot of people are assuming certain things about this, right?
Yeah.
And so the Henry Cavill thing, apparently they've already spoken to him about doing a different role.
Oh, really?
The Ben Affleck thing, they said, yep, cool. We're going to recast Batman, and how that's going to work with Matt Reeves as Batman, who knows?
Yeah.
But they've already spoke to him about directing a movie. They don't know which one, but
is great, because if you want Ben Affleck to do something, you want him to direct.
Dude, he's
an amazing director.
So good.
Yeah. His films are insane.
Yeah.
Good.
The Town is one of my favorites.
I know, right?
So good. And then Gal Gadot is apparently, he said, she's not been scrapped as Wonder Woman. So she could still come back. Yeah, they've scrapped Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3.
Which is good, because Wonder Woman 1984 was the biggest pile of crap I've ever watched. And you know me, right? I love everything. I love and it's got the Mandalorian in it. Yeah. How could it be bad? It's terrible bad.
Yeah. It was not great. I don't think it was.
I had to watch it in 3 sittings. I just could not get through it. And I can't emphasize that enough, how much I love everything. I don't bag much.
But look, if they bring her back for another one,
the first one
was good.
One of my favourite superhero movies ever.
Yeah. But, I don't know why they got rid of Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman 3. But look, I think what he's doing is right. I think come in clean slate, start again. Because everyone over the last 10 years has been trying to, we'll do this and right the ship, and we'll do that and right the ship. But unless you kind of like fully...
You need to reboot. You need to
fully reboot and reset.
So,
and apparently they've made changes to The Flash and removed Wonder Woman and Batman's cameos from that.
Superman.
Wonder Woman and Superman's cameos from that. So yeah, look, I think that if he comes in and and does that 10-year plan like they say they're going to do, and
there's still heaps that are yet to come out. So there's The Flash, there's Aquaman 2, there's
Blue Beetle.
I feel like
so apparently Jason Momoa's already been in talks about taking on a new role.
Lobo?
Definitely Lobo.
Got to be Lobo.
They said there was leaks of Lobo, and I was like, that's one of those castings where you go, or obviously.
Yeah. Like when he was cast as Aquaman, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they're going to give him a dirtier...
The other one is Shazam. That's coming.
Shazam, which I love that first movie.
Dude.
And I want more of it.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
I just had a smile on my face that whole movie. It's just like so old school, yet like I don't know, it made me feel like an 80s movie.
It did, yeah.
You know?
But in a
good way. Yeah.
In a good way. Like in the same way that Captain Marvel being set in the 90s gave me vibes.
90s vibes, yeah.
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 When this announcement came out, when the whole Henry Cavill announcement that came out, I was like devastated. Because I was like, I love this guy's Superman. He's everything I want in a Superman. Massive man crush on him. Don't know if I'd leave my wife for him. I'd think about it.
You and him could build computers together under the moonlight.
I think he'd be a great best mate, right? A bit like Ryan Reynolds. I think, if you met Ryan Reynolds, he'd be a great best mate. But I think I looked at it again through what I would say is probably more professionalized. Over the year, like in my professional life, not in my podcast life, I've worked as a program director. I currently work as a digital content manager, but I've worked as a program director for radio stations. And a lot of what you do in that job is casting. So you're casting breakfast shows or drive shows, and you're putting people together and creating a cast and an episode and a movie. Like you're creating this atmosphere. Like you need these people to gel and create the thing that you want people to want to go and listen to, and then obviously advertisers to come in and buy. And I think when I looked at this whole thing from that point of view, from the fact that I've actually broken breakfast shows up before, recast, because it wasn't working, because you've gone into this market and seen this show isn't working. Nothing we do, because you always try to fix it first. Nothing we do can fix it. We need to hard reset this.
Yeah.
We need to go back to basics and wipe the floor. And it's not that this person's bad or this person's a terrible person or this person's, just horrible. It's not working.
Exactly.
Something's not working. And it's easier to just
it's not
reset.
easier, but sometimes you need that reset, right? And so the thing is that the DCU is built upon Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Right? And so you've had, for the last however many years, too many cooks.
Yeah.
All trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Batman's having things happen over here, whether it be Nolan or the more recent stuff. Wonder Woman doing stuff over here, Superman over here. Bring them together haphazardly in Justice League because they just wanted to compete with Avengers. There's been no vision around how they want all these characters to kind of interact and
I think
be
Snyder
in the one universe. He did, but
but unfortunately, through circumstances he couldn't control, he had to leave that project.
But his vision, I don't think, is the true DC kind of.
It was a darker, gritty version, which I loved.
I know you're a fan of it, but I think that it's time for something new.
Yeah,
trying something else, right? And so, if you get those three characters right, then you can build from there, which is what they did try to do in the past. You focus on your big main characters, right? But I think what they're going to do now is get that core group, and then they can do all... The DC universe is massive.
Yeah.
You know, as we know from the 1,800 DC TV shows there are where, you know, they pull from deep cuts of, like, all kinds of DC lore, but...
Because they don't have the rights to the good stuff.
Bring all that stuff into the movies, you know, because Marvel's at a point now where if 20 years ago you said that there would be an Ant-Man movie, or even 20 years ago you said there'd be an Iron Man movie.
But not
they were C-grade characters, you know.
But even with Ant-Man, it's like not only is there an Ant-Man movie, there's a highly successful
series of
Ant-Man movies. It's like, what?
Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
If you told me, like, not even 10 years ago that there would be a successful Shang-Chi movie.
And that it was actually the best of the recent released Marvel films.
Like, no way. No way.
Yeah.
So, like, if DC can do that, and I know everyone's always comparing to Marvel, right? Yeah. And they need to do their own thing. Like, because that's... Yeah.
I hate it. Every time personally, I don't want to do it. But you're forced, like, because they're so similar... But they're basically the same product.
But imagine, like,
it's like Pepsi
the
and Coke.
DC fans like you, right, who have been DC fans for a long time, if it finally gets to the point where it's like Marvel and, like, the quality, even if every Marvel movie is not the greatest, every Marvel movie is not Endgame, right? Yeah. But they're all above a 6 or a 7. Yeah. You know, they're at that kind of, like, top quarter. And if you can get DC movies that, they're all not going to be a 10, but... just have them all be, like, above average rather than some stuff's down here and some stuff's up here and we don't know how, like, these kind of fit together. And, like, I want to see a freaking awesome Green Lantern movie.
Yeah.
Of all the core. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't worry about the origin story or just gloss over it. Yeah. But, like, then bring that in and have the proper 7 Justice League members with the Hall of Justice and all that kind of stuff and have it be the full-on universe. Yeah. You'd have a series of, like, space cop Green Lantern movies doing their own thing. And
that Green Lantern should be a buddy cop movie.
Oh, dude. It'd be, like... there's so much potential there. And I think if anyone sees that potential...
It's James Gunn. Man, those Guardians movies are exactly that. Amazing. They took that, you know, that C-grade, D-grade group of ragtag heroes from outer space and turned it into one of the biggest...
People who have never read a Marvel comic in their life know the Guardians
of the Galaxy, right? And I was always a fan of the comics. I thought, you know... in fact, to the point that, you know, Cosmo was actually probably one of my favourite characters in Guardians, and they didn't even bring him in until, like, the more recent ones. And even that, he only...
blink and you miss it.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. He's got more of a appearance in the Christmas special.
Yeah, okay. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it's great. There's no villain. In fact, if anything, the Guardians are the villain. It's so good. It's well worth watching. But yeah, I totally agree. I think they need to reset. Whether or not they reset with Superman, I don't know if that's the right thing or not. Yeah. But Superman, for me, I guess, sets the tone for the DC universe.
The thing that worries me is what they're going to do with Batman. Because they got this super successful Matt Reeves Batman
which
movie.
Is great.
Which is going to have a sequel.
Did you see that movie?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was amazing.
But it was great. But I don't think that fits in the DC universe.
No. Yeah, it doesn't.
You know, so
like
if you're going to still have things that are external and then things that are in your main universe, it's difficult to have that consistency to the average punter. Like, to most, like, super fans, you know, if you go, hey, this is just an Elseworld story.
Yeah.
It happens over here. It's got nothing to do with what's happening in the DCU. Then people go, okay, cool, right? Because that's happened in the comic books for forever, ever since Crisis on Infinite Earths. You know, this just happens on this Earth over here, and, you know, don't worry about it.
Okay, but here's the Marvel equivalent, right? Is you've got the Marvel movies, which are fantastic, and then you've got the Sony Marvel movies, which are generally a dog's breakfast.
Yeah,
like that Morbius. Did you watch Morbius?
No, I didn't.
Okay, it's not as bad, I don't think, as people say, but it's not good.
No, I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, I don't need to watch this.
Yeah, like the Venom movies, for example, they're not great.
Yeah.
Like, they're watchable, but they're but they're DC level movies.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, I guess it's they're not technically, but then they straddle that line of like the end of the last Venom where it kind of hints that maybe it is in the MCU in some way.
It is, but it isn't, but it is, and it's like
So you're right. There is elements of that in Marvel as well.
Yeah.
But I just hope that when they do DCU Batman, if that is different to Matt Reeves' Batman, then they need to just telegraph that hey, this is a different Batman that because people be like, what the hell, and they get all.
I think the layman's will definitely be like you and I'll know the difference. And
of course, but but these movies have to be successful. Like if they don't make $1 billion, they're considered a failure, which is ridiculous.
I did read a thing today where James Gunn said he was going to base the DCU on the animated universes of Justice League and Young Justice League.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because those
Justice League
series,
and Justice League Unlimited, those cartoons are amazing.
They're brilliant.
Are amazing.
Yeah.
And it would go off and do little tangents of other stuff over here and other stuff over here.
Yeah.
So if that's what if that's what he's going to base it on, awesome.
Yeah.
As long as
his Suicide Squad movie was okay.
I liked it.
I thought it was okay.
Look, I
liked it a lot more than Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Like the first attempt at it.
No, I thought it was good. I think it was funny. It was like true to the character.
I think having Starro as
hilarious.
The funniest thing I've ever seen in a comic book movie.
Yeah, to take Starro super seriously.
But brilliant.
But did you see the image that he tweeted out?
Yeah.
Of Kingdom Come.
No.
So the Kingdom Come series. He just no caption, I don't think, from memory. Just a picture of all the Kingdom Come characters. The one drawn by Alex Ross one.
Please be Cavill.
So maybe they are going to do some Elseworldsy stuff like that.
Imagine that if they did a Kingdom Come version using Affleck and Cavill as
exactly right. And that's what I said to a guy on Twitter the other day who had kind of taken a very negative thing of he's just gone and sacked everyone except the bloody Suicide Squad people and his wife, and took a very kind of negative look at it. And I was like, dude, Henry Cavill's in talks to role, Ben Affleck's in talks to direct. Yeah, if you have Henry Cavill come back as Kingdom Come Superman, and then you've got young Superman, and you do a kind of Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of thing, dude.
But that's got to be much further along.
For sure. But we're in early stages.
He will naturally have that grey in his hair.
But if they're doing 10-year plan, which is what they're doing, year 10, it all comes together in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and Darkseid's there, and all the Justice League's there.
I guess that was the thing about the Justice League movie is it didn't feel like they earned Darkseid.
No, they tried to get there straight away.
Yeah.
And I know Zach was trying to build it up for the second movie or whatever. But, dude, if you I know it's back to compare to Marvel, but kind of like what they did with Thanos, but you do it with Darkseid and you build to it slowly and you earn it rather than you throw it all in a pot in the first movie or the fourth movie or whatever it was.
I guess the main frustration, I'm fully supportive of James Gunn. Love everything he's doing. Can't wait to see what he does for the next 10 years. It's going to be great. My only frustration is I feel like Cavill's been wasted for 10 years.
Yeah.
Hello. Hey, darling. Recording? Yeah, we're recording. Thank you.
But, I'm excited to see where it goes, man.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, very much.
I see on your Instagram, FIFA picked the winner again.
Oh my God. Right? We need to talk about this.
Crazy.
FIFA have picked the winner 3 years in a row, now 4 years in a row.
So tell me, because I didn't get from your Instagram how they do that. So they run
the
simulation.
They simulate it. Yeah. So
they're using stats.
Set the teams up and they've got the stats of using the stats of all the players.
For that FIFA 1 or whatever.
For FIFA for that year.
Yep.
And then they run simulations. I don't know how many, but I'd imagine it'd be maybe 100 to get a good.
There you go. The data doesn't lie, hey?
And the only thing it got wrong is it said that Messi would win the Golden Boot. All the other things.
Who got Golden Boot? Mbappe.
Mbappe got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and Messi only just missed out by a couple of goals. So But for them to pick the winner again,
So the last 3 World Cups, didn't you say?
the last 3, now 4, including this one. So
That's crazy.
I can't wait in 4 years. I'm going to try it again.
Yeah, you tell me which
And
one,
see-
and I'm going to put
I'm going to put some
money
dollars
on it out there.
which is funny because I put the video up, right, saying
Yeah.
this is what's happened, blah, 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 for the last few
Yeah,
World
yeah.
Cups. Argentina are going to win. Argentina are going to win. I looked at it and went, yeah, I mean, yeah, I believe the algorithm. Well done. I think it's great. But I'm going to put my money on Brazil.
Yeah.
I should have put my money on Argentina.
That's funny, right? So before I
Yeah.
watched your video, I listened to a business podcast about because I'm not a big soccer guy, but I kind of like the background of the World Cup and the kind of like the behind the scenes of it, right? Especially at the moment, a lot of drama.
Oh, man, Qatar was drama.
Drama. And so I was listening to a lot of podcasts around kind of like the behind the scenes stuff, and they were talking about the VAR and how it would be really good if Argentina won because then he can take the trophy back to
It's a better
Paris
story.
Saint-Germain and Qatar own the team and it's a better story. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so these guys were tinfoil hatting that hey, Qatar would love it if Argentina won because then it kind of goes in their favor and they get to parade the trophy around and happy days. And so I listened to this before the tournament started. I was like, I'll throw a couple of bucks on Argentina.
You did?
Yeah, because I heard that it might be a bit rigged for Argentina. And so, and then they lost in that first game, and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
It's interesting. If you go back to the comments on my video, right?
Yeah.
After that loss, I wrote, the first thing I wrote, that aged well. And then the next game they won, and then they won, and then they won. And it was like, oh, actually, this is coming together. And it wasn't until like...
And then you commented, oh, well, it did age well.
Yeah, look at this. Like, AI wins again. Yeah. Anyway, so good to catch up with you again, man.
Good to catch up, mate.
Can't wait for the next one. In
Do it
fact,
again soon.
That's the pledge we are making for 2023. We're going to do this on a more regular basis.
Absolutely.
We keep saying that, but I feel like we've got the right setup for it now. We're ready to go.
Yeah, you got a great setup here.
Yeah, it's cool. Getting it together. All right, thanks heaps, man. Of course, Multiplay, download the podcast, subscribe to it now. That is one thing that will make sure that we continue to do these on a more regular basis, is seeing your subscriptions come through and your comments as well. Let us know what you like, what you don't like as well. We appreciate all feedback. It's all great.
Mostly like.
So do that. Remember, we're also running lots of competitions, giving giveaways and articles and stories at dokidarko.com, which is where you can also find the podcast if you've found it somewhere else. Thanks so much for listening and subscribe to all our networks. Ciao, everybody.